So you just found out you're autistic. Maybe you're relieved. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you feel both at the same time, and you're not sure which emotion is right to have. You're probably sitting with some big questions. What does this actually mean for me? What happens now, and who am I supposed to be? I want to share 3 things I wish every newly diagnosed autistic teen knew. Not when you're ready, but right now, in this exact moment. Hi, I'm Michael Szabo, registered provisional psychologist at Eckert Center in Calgary. I work with autistic teens, young adults, and I've sat with a lot of people right where you're at right now, trying to make sense of what this diagnosis means. So let's talk about it. Thing number 1, you're not broken, your brain just works differently. Let's start with the big one. You've probably spent years, maybe your whole life, getting messages that something about you is wrong. Too sensitive, too much, too different. Can't you just try harder to be normal? And when you hear those messages enough times, it's easy to internalize them, to believe that the problem is you. Here's what I need you to know. Your brain processes information differently. Not worse, differently. Think about it like this. Left-handed people aren't broken just because most scissors are designed for right-handed people, right? In the same way, most of the challenges you face come from living in a world that was not designed for the neurodiverse brain. Your sensory sensitivities, that's your nervous system being more attuned to input, not being too sensitive. Your need for routine, that's your brain working efficiently with predictability, not being rigid. Your intense focus on specific interests, that's a cognitive strength, not a character flaw. You don't need to be fixed. You need understanding, accommodation, and space to be yourself. The goal of understanding your autism isn't to become less autistic. It's to build a life that works with your brain instead of consistently fighting against it. Okay, thing number 2, the way you've been surviving isn't sustainable. You've probably heard the term masking by now, hiding your autistic traits to fit in, to blend in, to seem normal. Here's the thing, you've likely been doing this for years without even knowing there was a name for it. Forcing eye contact even though it's uncomfortable, suppressing your stims, laughing at jokes you don't find funny, coming home from school and immediately collapsing because you've been holding it together all day. That exhaustion you feel, it's not laziness, it's burnout. And if it feels like it's gotten harder since puberty, you're right, it has. Your nervous system is managing way more input, more demands, and more pressure to conform, all at the same time. Now, I want you to hear this. You don't have to keep performing normal. Learning when and how to unmask is part of your journey ahead, and that doesn't mean you'll never mask. Sometimes you might choose to in certain situations, but it should be a conscious choice that you make for yourself, not a constant survival strategy that leaves you depleted. Understanding masking is the first step, learning to navigate it, and that's the work ahead. You don't have to figure it out alone. Okay, thing number 3. You get to define what being autistic means for you. Here's the truth. No two autistic people are exactly the same. That's why they call it neurodiversity. Your autism is part of your identity, but it's not all of your identity. You're a whole person with interests, values, relationships, and dreams. There's no instruction manual for how to be autistic correctly. You don't owe anyone a performance of what they think autism should look like. Some autistic people love routine, others crave novelty. Some are introverted, others are extroverted. You get to decide what parts of your autism you celebrate and what parts require accommodation or support. The questions worth asking yourself aren't, am I autistic enough, or am I doing this right? They're, what parts of me do I feel like are my strengths? What parts require support? Who do I want to be, and how does autism fit into that picture? And here's the thing, you don't need to have this figured out right now. Identity formation takes time, especially when you're doing it during the teenage years, when everyone's trying to figure out who they are. You're allowed to change. You can change your mind as you learn more and more and more about yourself. Now, hearing all these things might feel validating, but it also might feel overwhelming. Like, okay, but now what do I actually do with all this? That's the question most newly diagnosed teens ask, and it's the question that's the hardest to answer alone. Understanding your autism is one thing. Building the tools to navigate your specific challenges, that's another thing entirely. If you found out you're autistic, that doesn't change who you've always been. It just gives you new language for it. The journey ahead isn't about fixing yourself. It's about understanding yourself. If you want help figuring this out, your parents can book a free consultation at the link below. We're here in Calgary and online across Alberta. And one more thing. If you're trying to figure out what being autistic means for you, we created something that might help. It's called You Make Sense, an 8-module course we get to work one-on-one with a therapist who actually gets it. It's not about learning how to act normal. It's about understanding how your brain works and building a life that fits. Your parents get guidance too, so you're both learning together just from different perspectives. If that sounds like something that might help, you can learn more at the link below. You Make Sense, and we're here to help you see that.